extra time.
एक्स्ट्रा टाइम के पास आईपीएल को लेकर काफ़ी सारा स्टोरी है। आपके चहेते खिलाड़ियों के बारे में काफ़ी सारा स्टोरी है। ये स्टोरी आप लोग रोज़ देखते हो, लेकिन आज एक अपॉर्चुनिटी हमारे तौर से दिया जा रहा है। आप लोग एक मैच खेल सकते हो, वो भी किसके खिलाफ? दादा के खिलाफ। सौरभ गांगुली ने माई 11 सर्कल में अपना एक टीम बनाया है। अगर आप चाहते हो दादा के टीम को आप बीट करें तो जल्द से जल्द हमारे कमेंट बॉक्स में और डिस्क्रिप्शन में जाइए, वहाँ पर उस ऐप्स का लिंक दिया हुआ है। उस लिंक को डाउनलोड करें, टीम बनाएं, दादा के टीम के अगेंस्ट में खेले। अगर आप दादा को हरा सके तो आपको दुगना राशि मिलेगी, तो देर किस बात की। दोस्तों, अगर आपको नया अकाउंट क्रिएट करना है तो आपको कुछ पैसा डिपॉजिट करना पड़ेगा। उसके बाद इस ऐप्स के द्वारा आपको 1500 रुपये का बोनस दिया जाएगा। और अगर आप हमारे एक्सक्लूसिव सब्सक्राइबर है, मतलब एक्स्ट्रा टाइम के एक्सक्लूसिव सब्सक्राइबर है, तो आपको मिलेगा 20% डिस्काउंट। आप जो मनी डिपॉजिट कर रहे हो उसका 20% आपको डिस्काउंट मिलेगा। ये बहुत ज्यादा एक्साइटिंग है। सौरभ गांगुली, शेन वॉटसन, राशिद खान जैसे बड़े बड़े दिग्गज इस ऐप्स के साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। तो आप लोग देर मत कीजिए, इस ऐप्स को तुरंत डाउनलोड कीजिए और ढेर सारा पैसा कमाइए। और इस ऐप में एक स्पेशल बटन भी है। उस बटन को क्लिक करते ही आप लोग पहुंच जाएंगे रमी सर्कल में। आप लोग रमी भी खेल सकते हो और ढेर सारा पैसा वहां से भी कमा सकते हो। तो देर मत कीजिए, इस ऐप्स को तुरंत डाउनलोड करें।
What were your memories of him?
Oh, it was certainly an incredibly sad time when we found out last night. Guys who are close to him that are in Dubai with him. It's my gosh, it's a real shock. I guess I was only talking to Jonesy last week, and the more I think about it overnight, probably summed him up. He was so passionate about Australian cricket. He was so passionate about the game of cricket, full stop. And we were talking about, how we can do things better. One thing about Dean Jones is there's not that many players who really revolutionised the game. You think about maybe Warney, you think about Adam Gilchrist and Dean Jones with one-day cricket, the way he's running between the wickets, his athleticism, the way he took on the game. So they're my memories of Dino, and of course his 200 in Madras. So, it's almost part of legend in Australian Test cricket. In the brotherhood of the baggy green, it's his 200 in Madras and the way he batted with AB. Stuff of legend.
The innings in Madras, going back to that was only his third Test match. Can you look to something like that for your own players and show them what a young guy can achieve at Test level so early in your career?
Yeah, we talk about it. We talk about it regularly about what the greats of the game do. One of the things when you start playing for Australia is you have an opportunity to become a great player, and that's the challenge for us. When you're coaching a domestic team, you have the responsibility to get your players to be ready to play international cricket. When they become international players, there are opportunities to become all-time great players. So we use those examples often. I mean, one of the also beautiful things about the game of cricket is that we're great storytellers, aren't we? And that story gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's what we love about it. It makes us smile. It makes us takes our breath away when you hear about how how tough AB was. You talk about what happened after with Dino. You talk about the relationship with Simo and Alan Border and Dean Jones. You talk about the 1989 Ashes tour. The stories get bigger and bigger, and they keep getting passed through to the new generations of players. So there's no doubt that those stories can help our players, and they can give them confidence or belief or the opportunity to dream to be a hero or a ledge like Dean Jones was.
Do you think, Justin, like one of Dean Jones's lasting legacies would be how in the last 15-20 years he's gone around the world and shared his knowledge, like even places that most wouldn't go, like Afghanistan or Pakistan? And is there a learning in there? Like, should there be more like spread of cricketing knowledge around the world?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, that was one of the great things, Jonesy. I mean, with the Pakistan, he was always, when I was coach of the Scorchers, he was always recommending different Pakistani players. When we were in Dubai, it was the same. He was recommending at dinner one night, he was recommending these Pakistani players to come and play the Big Bash. That knowledge around the world is like gold. And yeah, sure. I mean, there's so many opportunities around the world these days in cricket, in all the different leagues. There's Mickey Arthur's been head coach of Pakistan and Sri Lanka, and he's been all around the world. There's lots of opportunities, and I think that's a really positive thing for world cricket, no doubt about that.
How big a figure was he, sort of striding over Australian cricket in those days? He had that sort of strut and a bit of pomp about him, but for young blokes coming through, was he a sort of fatherly figure or someone that you were a bit intimidated by?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say he became more of a fatherly figure down the track. At the time, he was like, because we watched him, we were watching him in that period leading into our our first class debuts, and he was just, whoa. He was something else, wasn't he? Because of his energy and his strut and the way he took on taking on Ambrose, or the way he took it on. So then when we played against him, he was like often happens with the young players, he's like our hero, and we go, well, what do we expect here? And he was a competitor. He was intimidating. He was tough. So, but over time, as I mentioned in that first time at the MCG, when he gave us that advice about always score 100, you could tell he was passionate about the game. He was passionate about helping people. He's helped me as the Australian coach over the last few years. In fact, it was only, as you know, we've had Steve Waugh and Ricky Ponting. We've had Mike Hussey. It was only recently that I was talking about, a few weeks ago, I was talking about getting Dino in to help us with our T20 World Cup stuff as one of those mentor coaches. So sadly, that's not going to happen. But the things I've learned from him, and that the legacy he leaves to Australian cricket and Australian cricketers won't be lost on us.
Would players be wearing glasses on the field today if it wasn't for Dino, do you think?
That's true. It's all part of it, isn't it? I think, oh my gosh, it's so true. I mean, Oakley sunglasses back then with Jonesy, like I say, revolutionised the game. And now it's very, very rare for a player not to wear glasses. I know that we did that boot camp with the Australian team just before the Ashes in 2007, and I swear to God, the one luxury I missed the most was my sunglasses. And I didn't even know what sunglasses were before Jonesy came along. So yeah, there you go, another part of the Dean Jones legacy.
How do you think Dean himself would like to be remembered?
As a legend. Oh, Dino, like I say, he was bigger than life. He was, I think in the end of the day, that word legend, Dino legend, he was, that's how he'd love it. I think he'd love to be remembered as someone who was passionate about the game of cricket, passionate about not just Australian cricket, but just the game of cricket. And my gosh, I love that. He loved it. He was bigger than life. Yeah, I think the word legend, Roz, that sums up Dino. He probably called himself the Ledge. We all called him the Ledge. I think legend probably sums up Dean Jones, and that's how he'd like to be remembered.
Hit the subscribe option and the bell icon to get all the exclusive sports videos on Extra Time.